Focus, 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 focus. You know, the crap that goes on in this world never ceases to amaze me. Never it does. Never it does. You know, they got a lot of crazy things going on in the UK, right? They have a lot of retarded things going on in the UK. You have a mayor in London trying to outlaw knives. Okay, you got a mayor in London trying to outlaw knives. There are terrorist attacks going on out there all the time because the people don't have the right to keep and bear arms, and so they have no means to defend themselves against anyone who wants to do what they want to do with them. So you have that going on. Then you have a TV show called I mentioned the TV show before. Age Loves, some bullshit where you have a 60-some-year-old man married to a 16-year-old child, okay? And then a 40-something-year-old, a 14-year-old. You have that going on. And now what you also have going on is a drag queen story hour at a library with children, okay? Now, this is going on in the United States as well. I think in Texas and other places. Matter of fact, one of these drag queens is a registered sex offender that somehow passed a background check and was able to read to little children and teach them about draggy shit and tranny shit and gay shit and read them shit and shit, okay? Now, but what you have in London, you have, or England, you have a drag queen reading to children, talking about Fortnite and how some character likes to twerk in Fortnite, and then you have the drag queen demonstrate how one might twerk. What's going on here? Since when was it okay to have a grown man stand in front of a bunch of children and shake and thrust the air in front of them? What kind of world are we living in where this is the definition of tolerance? Accepting that bullshit. Since when was accepting that behavior deemed tolerant? Why do I have to tolerate a grown-ass man twerking and thrusting in front of children? Why do I have to tolerate the individuals that allow this to happen? Why do I have to tolerate the parents that accept this bullshit and therefore it continues to go on? Why do we have to tolerate a sex offender doing story time with children? Since when was that tolerance? And since when was tolerance? Since when is tolerance always a bad thing? We have to tolerate all behavior now? We have to tolerate all kind of shit because somebody might be a little too sensitive because they are the ones that people don't want to tolerate? It doesn't matter the behavior. So now what you have people advocating for pedophiles and saying that we should tolerate pedophiles. You have NAMBLA, right? You have NAMBLA out there still kicking, trying to get laws passed in order to make pedophilia a protected sexual orientation. They want to make laws to where if you in the mall with your children and a grown-ass man wants to come up and holler at your children, if you don't let them holler at your children, they can sue you, or they can send a law at you. They want to make laws to where I have to allow a grown-ass man or woman to holler at my children. That's tolerance. If I say, if you don't get your ass away from my child right now, you won't want to holler at nobody ever again in your life. If you ever come at my child, I have to tolerate this behavior because these deviants want to live freely and do whatever the hell they want to do in this world. Because many of the elites practice this behavior, and they're tired of hiding. They're tired of hiding their behavior. They want to freely bag your children. They want to freely touch on, molest, sexually abuse your children. That's what they want to do. And they're pushing hard for it. And that's why they want to reduce the population and control the birth rates. And what you have going on in the UK is a blitzkrieg of sexual deviancy being made to be lawful and okay. They're forcing gay sex ed on the children. You can't opt out in many cases at these schools in the UK. So look what's happening. Why is this behavior being tolerated? Why is this behavior being pushed on our children? Why is a drag queen reading to my children? I tell you what, if we don't nip this in the bud, your child might end up getting the brunt of this, because it's the children who suffer from it. Ultimately, you're confusing the hell out of them. They're too young. You're talking about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds who don't know what the hell is going on with their bodies. They're still learning. And here you have some deviant trying to push their sexuality and indoctrinate the children into this disgusting behavior. And that's what to me is disgusting. Oh, you're a man, but you want to be a woman. You want to cut your parts off. You want to, have your booty entered. It's disgusting. Anal prolapse, boo-boo on your shit. Like, why would you want that? You have to wear tampons and shit in your booty hole and all kind of shit just to keep, what's going on here? I mean, if that's what you want to do with your life, if that's the type of shit you enjoy, do you. Go ahead, enjoy that behavior. Participate in it as much as you want as an adult. But when you try to push that shit onto the children by force, by the threat of law, by the threat of law enforcers, that's when it's a problem. It's a problem. We don't have to participate, nor do we have to force our children to participate in your lifestyle or even be made aware of your lifestyle in the way that you want them to be made aware of it. If I want my children to be exposed to this type of behavior in the way that I want them to be exposed to it, not the way that you want them to be exposed to it, with your lies and your propaganda, right? And your sugarcoating and shit. Nah, they don't work like that. No, it's my child, it's my children. And this is why I homeschool my children. My children would not be subjected to that type of exposure. Nah. Nope. They'll be exposed to it, but in the way that I want them to be. To where I'm explaining, to where I'm the one who is in control of what they learn and how they learn it. You understand what I'm saying? When you put your children into the system, like a school system, you are essentially leaving them at the mercy of that system. And we have to remember that these teachers, these faculty members, they're all human beings. And human beings are flawed as hell. Right? You're a human being too. And you're flawed. But at least you know what your flaws are. And at least you know what part of yourself you're exposing to your children. As long as you're not a deviant, as long as you're not abusing your children, they know your flaws. And you know your flaws. So you know what you're dealing with when you're dealing with your own child's education. But when you send them off to school, you don't know what's going on in those classrooms. You don't know what type of ideology these teachers are spitting at your children. Suicide rates going up for children, teenagers, young adults. Sexual abuse. You know what I'm saying? Just all around sexual behavior. Children having sex mad early. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not just the teachers they're exposed to. It's other children. And you don't know what's going on at those other children's homes. Remember that. Your children are your children. Your children are your children. So you should be very mindful of who your children are around at all times. Who your children are exposed to. Who your children's friends are. Who your children's friends' parents are.